Hey, what's up guys? So in this video we are going to convert this not so good looking image into a very pretty good looking image suitable to be uploaded on print on demand platform and especially on Redbubble. Now the reason I'm showing you this tutorial is that I have previously sold on Redbubble some of the high value products, not the stickers and stuff like that, but high value products like throw blankets, duvet covers, and some of other products which can give you some good returns, some good commission. And those products usually contain nature style images, photographic images, not graphic design related products. So I decided to show you this tutorial to inspire you that you can yourself take images with your phone, just some natural images, maybe flowers, plants, natural sceneries, and you can add those images inside Affinity photo and make them look pretty good and suitable for uploading on these platforms and get some sales. So if you are interested in that, let's get started. Now this is the picture I took using my phone, not a fancy camera, nothing like that, just simple a JPEG image and not a very high resolution as well. And straight from the phone, you can see that it does not look pretty good. It's has some sharp, you can say, highlights. It's pretty shiny, the leaves are shiny, but it's not some, I would say, that an artistic looking good looking image, some kind of moody image. So we are going to convert it into something very interesting, and the purpose of this video is not to show you how you can add this particular image, and that is the reason I'm not going to provide this image in the download, so that you can practice it with your own images. And the purpose of this video is to show you different tools, different tricks that you can use to edit your own images, and how you can use those tools, different features inside Affinity photo. Now you don't have to use this particular software. I think any photo editing software would have this features, the features that I'm going to show you. So that's now that's clear. Let's get started. The first thing that you can notice here is that it's pretty bright. We do not want it to be that bright, and also there are some sharp highlights which we do not want. So let's start by using this adjustment layer, and all of these layers, that all of these edits that I'm going to make here are going to be non-destructive. So it's going to be very interesting. So I'm going to choose this selective color. Now this is a color grading tool, or you can say feature, this adjustment layer, which can help us create a mood in our images. Now in order to use this tool, first you need to identify what kind of colors you have in your image. So mainly we have slightly yellowish in the leaves and greenish, and that those two colors are we are going to edit it. And in this colors we have different color option that we can edit. So if you have flowers image, you can use those particular colors. So let's start by using this yellow. I want to decrease this yellow in the leaves a little bit, and maybe change its colors slightly, make it more moody, slightly bluish. This is the bluish tone is what I'm going looking for at this for this particular image. And let's go to add some green colors. Again, I'm going to want to decrease some of these yellows in the greens as well, and maybe slightly change it this magenta. And you need to play with these sliders, so that you can perfectly understand what suits your image. I think this is looking fine for now. We can again come back and adjust them a little bit more, and let's choose this whites and see if it has any effect on the highlights. Yeah, it has some effect on the highlights. So we want to increase, bring some color in the highlights, and maybe slightly greenish. And let's see how it looks. I think that's looking fine. They are not now as white as they used to be. I think this looks fine. And we can also make some changes to the neutral, see if that works. So the neutrals are going to be affected in, I would say, an extreme way. So we can make very slight adjustments, and we can then again come back and see how that would look. Okay, I think that is looking fine. Let's just close it. We do not want to merge or reset, just we want to close it. And next we want to do is use another adjustment layer or a color grading tool that is called the gradient map. And you don't have to use all of the tools that I'm going to show in this video. You just have to use some of them, maybe according to your images. Now in order to understand the gradient map, it is I would say it by default has these three colors of gradient. So the red shows the dark areas, and the green, this one, shows the midtones, and the blue shows the highlights. As you can already guess, those areas which are white are on our leaves are turned blue in this. And we do not want to have these 3 points, we just want to have 2 points. So I want my shadows or the dark areas to be slightly bluish, and for that purpose I'm going to just make it slightly like this. And then maybe just change the highlights to be blue, but not that harsh kind of blue. I think this looks fine, I would say. Yeah, and maybe this one's maybe slightly more darker. Okay, now we need to change the blending mode, and we can look for different blending mode whichever suits our image. But I think on these many, I think this would look good. Soft light and maybe vivid light, and it just according to you what blend mode suits your image. And I think multiply looks good, but it makes our image pretty dark. And let's maybe choose this soft light. I think this soft light looks good, but we need to adjust these our highlights because it's making it too bright. So like this one, and maybe decrease the saturation on this one. We do not want it that harsh color here. We just want to make them slightly look darker and bluish, not that harsh blue color. I think this looks fine, and let's just close it and see it has an effect or not. So it has some effect on it. And let's choose the next layer is going to be I would say a fill layer to get an overall tone of this image to a particular image. So new fill layer, and it is already filled with white color. We can go to this color options and change it, and maybe make it slightly greenish, something like that. Now of course we need to change its blend mode as well, and the blend mode that we are going to select here is going to be linear burn. And by default you can see that it has given us image a very unique sharp look, and we need to decrease the opacity of this fill layer. So let's bring it to 0 and increase it slightly in a step by step to see the desired effect, where we get the desired effect. I think at this point we are getting our desired effect. I think this looks fine. We can again come back and adjust these things because all of these layers are adjustment layers and they are non-destructive. Okay, now let's just use another adjustment layer that is going to be a curves layer to bring some contrast in it. So in the RGB mode we can first select this master layer, and in this area is going to be the highlights. Over here it's going to be the dark areas, the shadows, and there in the middle is going to be the midtones. So we want to slightly increase the highlights a little bit, and maybe decrease the shadows a little bit to get some contrast. And we want to also play with these red, green and blue channels to adjust the tone of it. Again, this color adjustment layer is also a color grading tool, and we can use it to create the mood of our color. Now this red tone is going to be adjusting our highlights because there are slightly highlighted color red in it. So we can bring it slightly down at the highlights area, and we can bring the green down. I think it's too green in certain areas of the leaves, So in the highlights I want to bring it slightly down, and maybe in the shadows I do not want it that blue, so maybe slight greenish would look good in the dark areas. I think this looks fine. And in the blue, again I want some blue in the highlights slightly here, and maybe reduced blue in that dark areas. I think this looks fine. Again, let's just close it, and this is looking fine. We can add some kind of fading effect to it as well at the end, but this is looking pretty fine, and I think it will need some kind of fading effect. But before I do that, I think I should make slight color adjustment as well. Now these much layers that I'm going to show you, these much adjustment layers that I'm showing you here, is just to show you different tools that you can use. You don't have to use all of these tools. You can achieve your result maybe just with one of these tools. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to use this recolor adjustment, and it gives this whole image a particular tone, and I think I like this kind of color, and maybe slightly bluish, and you can see that it gives our actually this image a little bit, I would say, uniformity in this look of this design, actually this tone. Okay, we need to of course the adjust the color of this thing. Let's just close it and adjust this actually blend mode. So the blend mode that I'm going to choose for this particular option, recolor option, is going to be this color, because of course it's a recolor adjustment layer. We need to apply it as a color. Again, we bring back our opacity to 0 and increase it slightly to see where it looks good. I think here it's looking fine, about 11%. That looks fine. Okay, now again I'm going to show you the selective layer, and the reason I'm going to use this selective color adjustment again is that I want to make some changes to the blacks and the neutrals. So blacks, I want to make them slightly less dark, and maybe make them slightly bluish tones, and I think this looks fine, just a slight, yeah, that's it, looking fine. As I change this slider of this black, it gives it kind of a faded look, but we are going to use a different adjustment layer for that faded look in the end. Now I think this looks fine. We do not want to, I think, mess with, I think, this neutral layer just slightly to decrease this greenish look in it. I think this looks fine. Let's just close it, and you don't have to make it kind of a bluish winter cold look. You can use any kind of look for your image that you want. So now in the final, this is going to be the final layer, and what I'm going to do here is that make kind of like a fading effect to it. So I'm just going to click here in this shadows area so that I do not move the whole curve, and on this area, this corner, I want to bring it slightly up, and as I bring it up, you can see that this dark areas become slightly less dark, and it gives our images kind of a faded look. And we can decrease of these shadows as well slightly. I think this looks fine. I might go back and change the color of this one according to my likeness a little bit more. This one looks fine as well, but I think this is okay. And again you can just come back to any of the particular adjustment layer and see if you need to change it. I think I would just make this bluish less kind of saturated. This looks fine. All right, and this is looking pretty good in my opinion. I might go back and make the fading a little bit more. I would say that a little bit more faded look to it. Sure, yeah, that looks fine. Let's just maybe adjust this fading in these highlights as well. I think this looks fine now. Let's see how it looks before and after all of these layers. So I'm going to press Alt and select this background layer. So this was our original image. Not so good looking, not so, I would say, a moody, a stylistic thing suitable for printing on those products. And once all of these layers are applied, we have a good looking suitable image, kind of a moody image, kind of like gold style thing, and it makes our colors more you can say unique and interesting. So this is how I usually edit images, color grade them, change them, and for my print on demand products. In the previous few weeks I have been testing this on my images and editing these, color grading them for print on demand purpose, and I have got some interesting results. Now if you are interested in learning more these kind of tutorials, photo editing tutorials, especially for print on demand purpose, or maybe just in generic photo editing for your own portfolio and for on your as a hobby, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to make more tutorials on, especially on this photo editing style theme. So yeah, that's all for now, and if you have found this video to be helpful and useful, make sure that you like the video. It will help me with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are interested in online earning and more of this kind of content, you can subscribe to this channel. It's totally free, and don't forget to press that bell icon so that you can be notified about my future videos as well. And once again, thank you for watching.